Welcome back to the Weekend Warrior Show Recap Podcast. I'm Ty from the Unemployed Architects. This week I'm going to be talking, I did actually have a show, so that's going to be, a little bit of what I'm gonna recap, which is just a different thing. It's been so long, I don't even know how. But I'm not going to get right into that. I've been having this, I've had a long week. Been not getting enough sleep. It's been definitely rough on that front. About 2 to 4 hours a night for some reason. Started last Sunday, and then my workload's pretty much just the same. So plus I had that show on Saturday. So I feel extra exhausted. I've had this weird thing happen to me the last few nights. I don't know if this is. I know this is a thing, but I don't know how common it is. And I've seen it in movies and stuff, but I've had it like a few times in the past, but nothing for a really, really long time. And so what I'm talking about is sleep paralysis. So it's been a strange few days, and I feel like that's been adding to my my lack of sleep. And the first time would have been Tuesday night. And I'm gonna kind of get into this. Before I get into this, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I obviously know that this is just essentially a dream. It's not anything too crazy. But so I'm sleeping on Tuesday night, and I fell asleep on the couch out in the living room. And just like watching TV, and I just start seeing a bunch of weird things. Keep like falling like off of like random shelves, and I'm hearing noises and kind of just like figures moving. So that's super, it's kind of creepy. And so and I can't move, which is I think terrifying is the right word. And again, I know this is all in my head, but so I kind of somehow muster up the strength to move. My legs don't work for some reason, but I do kind of. We don't have a door to our bedroom. We just have kind of a tapestry, and so I like creep through that. And I can't really say any words or anything. Like I'm, whisper yelling, if that makes sense. And I see a weird figure in our bedroom. Again, kind of, ghostly. I think this might be where, ghosts come from. It's like kind of in your head. And you're like in between a dream and being awake. And, I'm yelling, help, help, because she's in there sleeping. And she just kind of sits up in her bed, and her facial expression doesn't move at all. And she doesn't say anything, just kind of stares at me. And then, I just, jerk awake. And, I woke up with, complete goosebumps. It was pretty intense. It's probably the most intense one I've had ever. I've only had a couple other times. There's one time I was watching a lot of documentaries about aliens and stuff, and I swore, in the sleep paralysis, it was like, they're coming to get me, because it kind of messes with your head a little bit when you watch too much of that weird sci-fi stuff. We watched The Haunting of Hill House. I think it's a Netflix thing. And there's a character in that has that and had some creepy similar things. But, it's not like a regular thing for me or anything. But, I woke up with full goosebumps. And it was pretty intense. And then after that, of course, it was really hard to fall back asleep. I went in the bedroom and slept in the bed with Lo. And, I kind of was able to fall asleep, but it was super weird. And then so that's happened the last 2 nights as well. Nothing as creepy has happened in that uh, fashion, as far as like nothing, no figures or I can't or no no I can what's been happening actually is I have been slapping myself awake in in the sleep paralysis. So like I'll like kind of sit up in the dream and just like slap myself in the face. It's been weird. It's been a weird week. So if I seem a little out of sorts, that might have something to do with it. And then last night it was kind of the same thing, and I feel like that's made it like 3-4 hours of max sleep. It's been not ideal. And again, I know this is all just in my head for sure. It's just like a dream, but that first night was creepy. I've gotten chills just a couple times just like thinking about it, like not the good kind of chills. It was weird. Anyway, I don't know if anybody else has anything like experiences like that, but 3 nights in a row that's been my life. But so yeah, that's the first thing. I think it's just been on my mind, I guess. So I wanted to lead with that because it's been a long week and I am exhausted. But so a couple other things have been happening. I released Fool's Gold this last week, which is one of my tunes that I did in the Facebook Live that I'm going to end up and release as the Pandemic Relief Live Near Normal album. And it turned out okay. I don't know. I kind of got mixed feelings about, the first one I did was Winter White. And I wasn't really expecting much, I guess, when I did it. I was just like, oh, this would be cool to release. And then I was like, oh, I really like how that sounds. And, I messed up a few times here and there, but nothing too substantial. So I was like, and with the effects I added and stuff, just like the delay and reverb on the vocals, it just has this like really haunting kind of cool sound. And I really like that song in general just because of like the story in it. It's a pretty dark story, but everything's a metaphor and all that jazz. But so then I did Digital Soul. I think that would have been probably last week or the week before. And it was okay. Wasn't as good as Winter White in my opinion, but I like the song a lot. And really, there's just a couple parts that the vocals get a little bit lost in, and some of that it's meant to be kind of a mumbly sound. When I wrote it, it was just like the tone I kind of wrote it in, kind of weird. I wanted it to be a little weird, and it kind of fits the song, I think. But there's a couple words that I feel like are pretty hard to make out, which might be something that I can just fix when I get them mastered and whatnot. But and then this last week I did Fool's Gold, and it's about the same as Digital Souls. This didn't have the oomph of Winter White for me. I like them, and if I would have did them, I wish I would have done Winter White last, but I was too excited about that one, I guess, so I rushed it out. But I mean, it's not. I don't think that the other ones are bad or anything, but I don't know. I just hoping I'm not losing steam on them as far as getting them done and released and all that. But I did a lyric video with Fool's Gold because I've always kind of liked the form of that song, so I kind of want to emphasize that a little bit. So the thing about that song is I wrote the one verse, and it was just 4 lines, and it was okay, nothing special. But then I had this idea that each consecutive verse after would use the next line from that first verse to start it, and then I'd write a whole verse based on that line. So, first verse, then a verse with the second line of the first verse, and then a whole verse that way, and then the third line of the first verse and then the fourth verse is the last line, and then I repeat the first verse at the end to kind of tie it all together. But I feel like the lyrics are cool and it was okay performance, and I've always kind of felt like it was kind of my version of a soul song or something. So like I was kind of kept that in mind when I was mixing it, and when I did like with a video, I kind of did like an old film filter on the video. So yeah, I just released the Facebook and Instagram versions today. I did the YouTube one a couple days ago. I don't really know what's next on the roster because I've only preset those 3 songs, but it's just nice to have something done. And so another thing that happened or that's happening, I guess I should say, that's weird is I applied for this contest for a studio to, if you win it, you get to go and record some songs for free in like a professional studio and stuff. And the people who run the studio have been, actually getting in contact with me a lot. A few times, I should say, not a lot, but, and I don't know, I'm just always so weary to believe any of it is real, because I don't know if anybody that, if you're a musician, you kind of already know this, but if you're not, you might not. that people try to scam us a lot. Like a lot of especially the first like 5 years of things we did, so like 50% of things were scams, because you just don't know, and we're such easy marks, we're like the ideal target for getting scammed, because when somebody like says they like our music, instantly we're like, "Whoo, I like this person," and then we want the dream we have to come into fruition so bad that we'll believe almost anything. And so I don't know. There's been a lot of times where I've gotten like what I thought were like these cool opportunities and stuff, and they just end up, and it's pretty much they just a way for me to pay somebody ultimately. And so that I'm weary about this contest with that, but who knows? Maybe it'll lead to something. It would be cool. It's all about crowdfunding, I guess, and it's like they'll record you a demo CD. They'll use that to kind of build awareness and kind of excitement for like a full album, which was kind of the dream, really. I mean, I would love to do that, and that's why I'm such an easy mark. I think is because obviously that would be amazing, and that'd be something I'd really like to do. But is it legitimate? I just don't really know. So I guess we'll kind of see how that plays out. I'm not. My hopes aren't very high, but I just kind of wait till they start asking me to pay for stuff, and then then I kind of quit paying attention. But we'll see what happens. It's probably nothing. I'm just like most easy marks, I live up in the clouds a little bit. Like, I think that, all these things could happen and it would be, amazing, and it would be exactly what I want. But realistically, I got to be a little bit of a realist, and especially because I've been had a few times. That's probably not really what it looks like, but would be cool. I would really to record a professional sounding album for free. It would just be so nice to have people all for like a common purpose. And I have the songs. I definitely have a lot of songs that I would be plenty to fill probably 2 or 3 albums, but just to get like one really awesome solid album has always been a dream. or the goal, I guess you could say. The goal. That's the goal. I've tried really hard for that with Design to Shine, and it's not a perfect album, but it's okay. I mean, it's better than average, I think. It's not quite to the level that I would want it to be, but there's no way it could have, because I don't think I was, to the point, the where my potential lies. I don't think I've really reached that necessarily. It's a weird thing, It's like that's what drives you. That fire, that feeling that I can like sometimes taste the potential. I can feel it. It's like burning. I have those nights where everything is just clicking. It doesn't have to be anywhere special. It could just be me in my bedroom, and it's like I can like feel where this could, if I had if I had the right resources, where this could go and what I could become, and I get it I get it other times too, and it's always about music, but there are sometimes when I'm, like I said, just practicing, or when I'm working out or playing shows, or really just any way that I'm expressing myself. Sometimes I just get a glimpse of what it could be, and that reignites any jadedness that I've had, and it's like I feel like, but it's so crazy because it's that's, I'll feel like that one day, like, oh, I got all this potential and I could be so much better than I am, and then the next day just feel like I'm a fraud and everything I do is garbage. And I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with just the general mood I'm in. But if I'm like making positive choices and doing positive things, I'll get in that mindset sometimes, and it's like I I just wish I could express this feeling better. But I'm sure you've had it in some fashion, but it's just like that glimpse of making better choices and being a better person. And I don't know, it's like, for me, I feel like sometimes it's just playing guitar and doing the foot drums and the singing and stuff, and I've got the songs there too, and it's like all of them come together to this, me playing it, and it's like, oh, I can just like I'm almost get there, but I usually don't quite. Sometimes it shows, I'll feel like I can do no wrong, but in practice a lot of time I don't quite, but I'll feel it for like a second, when everything's clicking, and like see the potential, the shadow of my alter ego. It's probably where my small obsession with like superheroes comes from a little bit, or like Batman especially. I know it's so to be a 33-year-old person and like Batman. It's just it's silly, but I feel like I can feel that hero sometimes, or somewhere in the same way, and his character, he's not perfect, but through just like pure will, he becomes like not just a force to be reckoned with, but the force to be reckoned with. And there's like a lot of darkness in him, and that's, I don't know where my darkness necessarily comes from, but it's there. So, and that it's like through pure will, he gets there, and he has no special abilities, he's just anyway, I guess that's my Batman rant for today. I should probably talk less about fictional superheroes. But all right, so let's get to the show. Last weekend. It was an experience. It was fun. I mean, it wasn't my ideal situation for a lot of reasons, and I I wish I could have just landed more where I wanted to. Um, and it probably wasn't a situation with everything going on that I even should have been putting myself in. But somebody offered me money to go play a show, so it like in a time where resources are very limited, and I'm always stressing about money. It's really hard to somebody offers me some cash to say no to things. And I don't know that that's the right answer necessarily, but and it's like essentially just an apartment. It was like a birthday party. It was it was me and then Josh Robson and Brian Feldecamp, and I just didn't really expect it to go. And Dave Faulkner, obviously, he was the hand percussionist for both me and Josh, and it really just kind of ended up all of us playing together. We didn't really, but we didn't. It's not like we practiced it all together. We all just kind of winged it for every song, which is fun. It's just a different kind of fun. It's I got to play a lot of lead guitar, which I don't get to very regularly, so that was cool. And Brian, I feel like's really, really cool. Can follow pretty much anybody and just play along pretty easily. And then Josh has kind of this like Xavier Rudd. I don't know. I hate saying comparing people directly to artists, but there was like an aspect of his performance that reminded me of Xavier Rudd, which I like Xavier Rudd a lot, and that was cool. And he just has like a billion different toys. Like he has a foot drum, he has a looper, he has a banjo, he has like a little synth piano and or a synth keyboard, and then like it has like this crazy like chaos pad thing that he so I mean he was doing all sorts of crazy stuff throughout the night, and that was cool. And then of course Dave, who had his congas, and he played Josh also has a drum machine or like a drum pad, and Dave was playing on that a little bit. But I expected it to be like an Unemployed Architect show, and it wasn't really that. But and I definitely wouldn't have brought all my gear, my sound gear, if I would have known that we were just all gonna jam together the whole time. And that was probably part of the problem. I was it's a very crowded stage and too loud. I think that was, but I mean nobody knew anybody's songs, so it was just as loud as whoever wanted to be, that volume. It was whoever was playing and wanted to be heard at that second was, because it's not like we practiced any of these songs beforehand. It was just like Josh played a little set, and then I played like maybe 4 songs or so before everybody just started kind of hopping on the stage. And I mean, it wasn't like, I think we played like a lot of Tom Petty, because that stuff was easy to kind of follow. I did some Beatles, um, but again, I just kind of ended up just playing lead guitar for Josh, which I'm not amazing at or anything, but it was nice to kind of be actually like put in the situation where it was appropriate, and actually have a band behind the guitar, which I don't ever, and it wasn't really mixed super well, but it just was what it was. It was just a night of jamming with some good people, and uh, Justin Michael Brown showed up there, and I let him play a couple songs of my guitar, and he always sounds really good. So, and then I kind of just got out of there. It wasn't like a big hangout or anything. I didn't really know like anybody except the musicians on stage, so I guess I tried to stay up there as much as possible. But yeah, so that was the show this last weekend, and turned out, I think, okay. I made a little extra cash, which is never a bad thing. But I know we got Sugar Creek Music Festival coming up here in like April, so that'll be more of like a traditional Unemployed Architects show. So that's definitely something to look forward to for me. And again, I'm really hoping to get these pandemic relief sessions out. So you'll be seeing more of that and being more regular with the podcast here. So that'll be good. And I'm going to see if I can actually get some of the other podcast I'm working on done. And I'll let you know how the contest goes, or if it really was what it sounded like. It's hard to say. But at some point I'll know. So I'll fill you in, I guess. But as always, I appreciate anybody who took the time to listen, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.